Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday evening here in Zhongshan, China. Time for another episode of Behind the Rojo Rope. Uh, so I've been gone for a couple weeks. What's going on? Anything crazy going on out there? Something I should know about? Uh, I've spent, like most of you, I think I've spent the last few weeks, glued to my TV, uh, reading news, debating with friends, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And I, I'm a little burnt out. I haven't been sleeping much, obviously, for obvious reasons. I'm going to say one thing about it, and then I'm going to move on because this is not a place for politics. But I just want to say, someone asked me, Paul, what do you feel about it? And I just said, no war, no war. And then a couple of people said, oh, Paul, it's so easy for you just to say no war. And then they wanted to continue on with the but. And I went, no. It is. It is very easy to say. It's not difficult. There's not much to it. It's 2 words, 2 syllables, no war. But, and there's my but. Yeah, I pray for peace every day. I'll move on from that. Thank you for joining me on a Sunday night. It is a beautiful night here in Zhongshan. I've got all the windows open and enjoying a nice temperature with a cool breeze. I'm feeling a little fat at the moment. Mona and I just got back from pizza. Drove out to Zhangjiabien, had a little American pie, and we ate a whole pizza. And so I'm feeling a little fat. Yeah, it's a little loud out there, but I have to have the windows open because it's just too nice a night not to have the windows open. And then I got a nice little mystery drink to keep me company for the evening. Oh, JK asks me, thank you for joining the live stream, buddy. How's the Dongguan COVID? It's, I think it's a good question. I had it here. Oh, and let's find out what the latest is on that. Okay. So Expat Focus does a really good job of keeping track. You can see there, they send out this map with all the locations of low, medium, high, if you will. And it's everywhere. I mean, this is the most I've seen of COVID in mainland China. I can't remember it being this bad. Okay, so this was reported as of March 6th. 35 in Dongguan. I think it's more than that, actually. I think this is 35 new cases in Dongguan. That's a lot for a city in mainland China. I know it doesn't sound like a lot if you're outside of China, but 35, it's red and it's considered high risk. And so other high risk places, Qingdao, 88. Wow. Hohhot, 7, still high risk. Shenzhen, 17. These are newly reported, and they're medium risk. Shanghai, 28, considered medium risk. So it's all over the country. And it seems like most of them are coming from Hong Kong. Of course, the situation in Hong Kong has kind of spiraled a little out of control. I think it shocked everybody. It caught a lot of people by surprise. And there's a lot of things happening just across the bay. And I think what we're seeing is a spillover effect of that. So we've always been fighting it here in mainland, and we're continuing to fight it. In my area in Zhongshan, we're okay. I think there was an asymptomatic case last week, but turned out to be nothing. So we weren't added to the list. But yeah, Dongguan's okay. I mean, there are a couple of areas that I think are on lockdown, but it's not a place that you want to go, and not because you're scared of the virus. You're just scared of the restrictions that will be placed upon you. If you go to a city or an area that is high risk, then you get a little asterisk on your health code, and you have to be tested and watch yourself. And so that's kind of what most people seem to be afraid of a little bit. Tancred. Is that right? Tancred. Hi, Paul. Here in Ireland, you can now walk into a shop without a mask on. Feels really weird. Yeah, you kind of get used to it, right? I know they've dropped a lot of the mask requirements in America, and they are learning to live with it. Here, masks are required everywhere. I mean, if you're out on the street or you're going hiking or something, it's really strange. It's when you walk into a park, the bowman will check your health code. You have to put on a mask, and then once you get into the park and you're kind of all by yourself, then everyone takes the masks off. In the malls and in public areas around here, if you go to a wet market or something, you're asked to wear a mask. You're required to wear a mask when you come in. They won't let you in unless you're wearing one. And but once you're in the mall, I'd say about 80% of the people still continue to wear a mask. Most of the people here in my building, when they're in the elevator, we wear masks. At the college where I'm working, I'd say about 90% of the people wear masks, and it's always been part of the culture here, and so it continues on a little bit. So there's still a high degree of sensitivity around it. Let's see, JKJ, do you think that death are only being delayed? Hong Kong looks like Italy or US. I have no idea. I haven't looked into it. I was talking with a friend of mine at dinner tonight, and it looks like it's the unvaccinated that are bearing the brunt of things. It's a very good question. Um, a lot of people, including myself, have asked, eventually will China have to open up and just let it in and face it? Uh, Most people disagree with that idea. Most people think that no, the government should continue with the zero COVID policy. They're still trying to find ways, and still, I have an article that we'll talk about tonight about how they seem to still be trying to find ways to open up for tourism, but that doesn't sound like it's going to happen anytime soon. I have an announcement to make, and I was looking for a way to go home to see my family this summer. The borders are open. I can do it. I have a residence permit, so I can conceivably go back and forth as much as I want, assuming that I'm be put into a quarantine hotel when I arrive back into China, and that's you have to take that into account. In some locations, quarantine can be as high as 28 weeks, or excuse me, 28 days. For me, I think it would be 14 days plus 8 days at home. So 3 weeks of basic quarantine when I arrive back. So I was looking at maybe doing it this summer because I haven't been home in many years and I miss my family. And I started looking into it and started planning it a little bit. The flight, you're not going to believe this, an airline flight, round trip from Guangzhou in June, because that's when I would go, is 92,000 yuan. It's about $14,000, a little over $14,000 for a round trip plane ticket from Guangzhou to Los Angeles. That would be leaving in June and coming back at the end of July. Now, I looked at other ways to do it. I thought, okay, maybe not fly directly to LA. What if I fly to Singapore? Yeah, so I can fly to Singapore. And that's about, it's a normal flight, cost. And then from Singapore to LA, and that's about 7 or 8 thousand. It's a little more expensive than it was before COVID, but it's definitely doable. 7 or 8 thousand yuan. But to return back to China, you have to do a direct flight, and that's 30,000 yuan, or about little less than $5,000 for a one-way ticket. Needless to say, this kind of puts it out of my budget for this summer. So I do not think I was hoping I could go home for my family reunion, which is happening at the end of June. It was a big family reunion, happens every couple of years, and everyone gets together at the ranch and and has a big party. And I was hoping I could do that, but it doesn't look like I'll be able to do it. That's a huge amount of money for me. I'm a simple teacher. I'm not Casey Neistat on YouTube, so I can't afford this stuff. So it looks like I will be staying in China for yet another summer and conceivably another year. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully things get better. COVID goes away. We'll see. One of our foreign teachers came back from Suzhou after the break. Now he's still under quarantine. Yeah, Suzhou had a little thing going on there. Gene, how are you, man? Long time no talk. I hope you're doing well up there, dude. Yeah. Ziv is on. Hello, Ziv. Thank you again for the introduction. I appreciate it. Good to talk with you again. Been a long time since we talked as well. Still no dining in. See, Suzhou, according to this, is medium risk. They had no new cases, but they're still medium risk. It'll take a little while for them to clear that and things to open up again. I mean, most people seem to be very, weary of just getting one case because that's all it takes is one case in a giant city of 5 million, and they start shutting things down. I know the asymptomatic case they started doing half dine-in. There they close off some of the tables and everything, and so that seems to be what people are mostly weary about. Yeah. Okay. I'll talk about that too. It's a good point. Teachers are under a lot more. I mean, I only went to one place during my winter break. I went to Beijing for a few days, and I went there before there was a COVID outbreak. I came back, no problems. I was tested like 7 or 8 times in a 2-week period. And then I went back to the college last week, and I had to get another test before they let me back onto the campus. And I had to fill out or declare all the places that I've been in Guangdong, including Huizhou, Xiaolan, even across the river in Jiangmen and Zhuhai. So they wanted a detailed list of all the places that I had been before they would let me even on the campus. So, yeah. Yes, it is crazy expensive, man. Yeah, the testing actually it is very efficient considering the amount of tests that they do, but that's how they identify, and that's part of their thing here, I guess. Yeah, it's in the red. I know you invited me to come out there, and I'd love to come out there and stay at the Intercontinental, and you can introduce me to your tailor. We can have a few beers, but that's out of the question right now, buddy. I mean, I really cannot leave Zhongshan. Right, I'm a teacher, man, and for teachers, they get pretty strict on this stuff. It's hmm. Do you think they're waiting for an Omicron specific booster before? No, I don't think even after an Omicron booster gets distributed throughout the country. I mean, there's 1.4 billion people here. It would take a long time. I mean, they're still getting the first booster in the arms of people here now, but just an Omicron specific one, it would take months to put that together. And even after it was distributed to the populace, I still think they would worry about it. Yeah, there's an awful lot of fear. A lot of people are saying that. If yeah, the rest of the world is moving on, trying to move on. Um, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. This is the world we live in now. I've gotten used to it. It's it's everyday life here. I'm sure if you were coming from another part and you try to move to China and try to uh, make a life here now, I think it would be kind of a shock and how much control there is to keep it under wraps. But yeah, yeah, I agree with you, man. Yeah, Hong Kong is getting hit hard. If you don't know, go read some news about what's going on in Hong Kong regarding. Okay, let's change the subject a little bit and tell you about some of the things I've done in the past week. Now, I haven't done much. I went back to work. It's good to be back in the classroom. It's good to be. Whoops. Yeah. Live stream photos. There it is. It's good to be back in the classroom. It's good to be teaching again. The students are back. They seem ready to work. I'm ready to work. And I know I say that now in a few weeks. So it'll be the dog days. And I'll be like, when is summer break coming? When is summer break coming? But for now, I'm pretty stoked to be back. Let's give you some photos. Now, this weekend, I actually spent the weekend here in my office. I cleaned. I enjoyed the beautiful weather that we're having, and I had no plans, and I didn't do anything other than today. I did a little filming, and met Mona for some pizza, and but other than that, I did absolutely nothing. I just stayed here. I worked and relaxed, and it's wonderful. It's one of the. It's so rare that I get a weekend where I don't have to do anything, where I have no plans, and it was like a nice staycation here at home. I watched a couple movies. I took a nap. I did my laundry. I cooked all my meals. I just made tacos galore. It was freaking awesome. I love it. So I needed that. But today I did some other things, and I'll show you some of the other things I did. Okay, so let's start with. All right. So today, this afternoon, I went filming for cars. Yes, I'm back in the saddle with the car videos again. This is something that's been off my channel for a while, other than an auto show here and there. But I went with my Chinese teacher, Leva. She came along with me, so it was kind of like a Chinese lesson, if you will. Uh, she's a longtime friend, longtime colleague, and my Chinese tutor. Now I'm learning Mandarin, but of course, here in the secondhand car markets, they all speak Cantonese. So having Leva there was actually really great. And I did a walk around of some of the secondhand cars. I am in the market for another secondhand car probably this summer. So I mean, I don't need one, but it is something I'm thinking about. Uh, and it was nice to just walk around. And of course, Leva just got her driver's license, so she's actually in the market of buying another car too. So we went together for a couple of hours and filmed it. This is obviously a Great Wall pickup truck. Now, I'm not interested in purchasing this. The newer generation Great Wall pickups, the poor, are very, very cool. We'll see what happens this summer. I don't think I'm going to buy a new vehicle. Probably be a used one. But it was great to walk around and see what is in the market right now, and what are the prices. What are the price differences between Chinese cars and other cars? So this one here, this is a GAC G4. It's a compact SUV. This one was a few years old for about 50,000 yuan. And again, all the prices that are on display, you talk them down. Let's see. I actually did a video on this one here, this SUV, the 580S from Dongfeng. It's Fengguan, and I was not very impressed with it. It's an older design. It doesn't. I never released it. I will incorporate a little bit of that footage in this video that I was producing today. So Ziv asks, "Are there any secondhand EVs?" Yes, there are a few. This is the Rojo. I think this is the Model 3. Great little car for a good price. This is built by SAIC. And one thing I didn't know, Jack Ma, he drives a Rojo. Not this one. He drives the bigger model, but I thought that was interesting. Okay. Now, this is the Way VV7. And this is the one that caught my eye. This is kind of the vehicle that I am looking at upgrading to from my Haval H6. I love my Haval H6. It's been a wonderful car. It still is a wonderful car. There's no issues with it whatsoever. It looks good, drives great, but it is starting to get a little old. And there are some technologies that I wish were in this, such as, I mean, I don't even have cruise control in my car, let alone adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, things like that. So I'm kind of wanting a newer vehicle that has some of those safety technologies. And this is a 2018 Way VV7. I'm going to do a standalone video about this week, but it will be in the walk around. It has 55,000 kilometers on it, and they priced it at about 120,000 yuan. So a little less than $20,000, but I think I could get it. Again, I'm sure it's less than that. I could probably get it for 100,000, if not less than that. But good looking vehicle, man. Really, really cool. If you don't know, Way is a cousin of Haval, built by Great Wall Motors. And this is just a beautiful sports car crossover SUV thing with a gigantic hood. That's not an illusion. That hood is really that big. It's huge. And the engine is not very big. It's only a 2.0 liter turbo in that sucker. It's just really raked back. So I'm excited for this. I'm gonna go drive it later this week. I'm not gonna buy it, of course. I'm not gonna buy it till later on this summer. Now this one, I don't recall. It looks like a Toyota van. This is a similar style of van you would see in like Hong Kong or Macau, and you see them coming across the border, and they have like a right hand side drive, and they're very expensive. This one is not an expensive one. This is a cheap one. But what I liked about it, it is super long, and the back has here. I'll show you. It is super long, and the back has fold down seats. It has a kitchen with a water tank. It has a television in it. It is like a little mini house car, fengchua. It's like a little mini road trip type of. It's not TRD. It's not a Toyota. So that sticker there is kind of not not correct, but a groovy van. And it's still low enough and narrow enough to where you can park it in parking garages, but it's long with tons of space in the back. And of course, it's got one of those external kitchens that you can fold out of the back. Really, really cool. And I had never seen one of these in Zhongshan. This is the first time I've seen it. I hope to do a video on it this week as well. So the way VV7 and this one, I need to do more research on what this is, the engine and the history of this car and stuff. But I think they only wanted 90,000 yuan for this. It's 2 or 3 years old with about 50,000 kilometers on it. And they only want 90,000 yuan, a little over $10,000 for it. So I'm curious about it. I can't see myself using something like this as a daily driver. Of course, it's not a daily driver. I think I'd go insane with it, but it is something that I would consider in the future. Rather than buying a big motorhome, I would, to tour around when I'm out on walkabout and, traveling around, or a big trailer that I gotta tow. Buying something like this where I can customize the interior a little bit makes a little more sense to me. Put some solar panels on the roof, live the van life a little bit this summer. An idea, just an idea, throwing it out there. I know our buddy Fernando's doing it now, and I think it would be an interesting idea to do something like that. Ziv says it's time to get a new car, but I want an EV. Ziv, if I recall, you have a BRD SUV, and how's it holding up, dude? If you want an EV, that seems to be where everyone's going. I'm not sold on an EV. Just give me a plug-in hybrid. I think that's best. Something with a 25, 30-mile range on the battery, and the rest is all engine. I think that's the way to go for me, living in the city. What kind of EV are you looking at, dude? How's the gas station in Pascagoula? It's quite crowded here every day. Nope. I haven't noticed any difference in the gas stations here. Price is slowly creeping up. Price of gas slowly creeping up, but that's always the case. It's still the price increase is almost not even noticeable at the pump. I haven't noticed much of a difference in the aggregate price of my gasoline, and I haven't seen any increase in the lines. Corey's on. Corey says, I bought my 2013 Toyota Camry new 9 years ago for $22,000. Caravana offered me $16,000 for it. It's definitely a good time to be a seller of a used car in America now. That is true, man. Especially if you own something like a Toyota or a Honda. I still have a Mitsubishi Montero that is over 20 years old. I still have it in the United States. It didn't pass smog, so it's sitting at the ranch right now. And I know that I couldn't sell it if it can't be smogged. I had to pay all this money to get the emissions things done, and the price would just not be worth it. And junking it would be like $1,000, and I don't want to junk it because it's a great car. It runs great. It just has a few issues that need to be addressed. And so I told my father, hey, go get it fixed, because something like a 20-year-old Mitsubishi Montero in good condition that still runs, if you can get it to pass smog, you can probably get a really good price for it right now. And those inflated used car prices are not going to last forever. So go get it right now. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they're in California. So I don't know. You'd have to register. I'd have to register it in South Dakota. I have to be there. I can't go back. For now, it's a nice little tool on the ranch, and they drive it around. And it's a collector's item. I really believe that just like you see old Range Rovers increase in price, old Broncos increase in price, Blazers, things of that nature that are from 30, 40 years ago. You give another 10 years, and this Montero, which is the old late 90s, early 2000s Montero, it's kind of edgy. It's four-wheel drive. I've got the Endeavor package on it with the giant sunroof and everything. It's a badass vehicle. It's really great, and I really believe if we hold on to it, we don't need to sell it. It's taking up space, but I think my folks have the space to hold on to it. If you need the cash, sell it now. If not, I think it's just going to go up in value in the future. I really believe it's a collector's item. So if I ever do go back home to the States, that will be my vehicle, and I'd love to have it. I'd love to go back, fix it up, maybe put a new engine in it, and that would be my vehicle rather than buy a new vehicle. I just have my old one that's been sitting in storage for 20 years. Why not, right? Mm. But I leave it to my father. My parents have been very nice to store my vehicle. I wasn't able to sell it when I left for China. I didn't think I'd be in China for this long, and I have no plans on leaving China. I guess it's nice for them to have another car around. So, yeah, there it is. Okay, moving on. What else did I do? Cameras. Oh, wait, one more. You mentioned Tesla. This is a Model 3, 2001 Model 3 with about 16,000 kilometers on it, if I recall, for 240,000 yuan. So what is that? It's 2,200. It's $38,000. 38,000 US dollars for a 1-year-old Model 3. So that's an EV, a used EV on the lot. I think it was the only EV I saw. There were a couple BYDs on the lot, but I didn't really check them out too much. So, but that's what a used 1-year-old Model 3 secondhand is going for in Zhongshan, China these days. Kind of interesting. I'm thinking of buying a new camera. I went up to Guangdong and I started looking around at some cameras. I went to the Sony store thinking about buying the EV, the E10, just an upgraded camera with exchangeable lenses. And this is a camera shop that I found right around the corner, not far from here. I didn't even know it was here. And the guy is really cool. They have all these used cameras, all these DSLRs and point and shoot with all these lenses and all the freaking. I mean, it's a pretty cool store, man. All kinds of Canons and everything, and I really kind of got lost in it, and I didn't know, should I buy a used DSLR or should I go with a brand new Sony? Excuse me, Sony. And I put it off. I've budgeted a certain amount of money for this camera purchase. I've been thinking about it for many months. I don't need it, but I want it. I mean, I use this. This is the DJI Pocket 2. I have a Pocket 1 that I still use, a Pocket 2, a DJI action camera. I have the iPhone 13 Pro, which everyone knows has got an amazing camera on it. The camera here that you're watching me on now is my old iPhone 11. I think it does an okay job. Do I need a camera like this? No, but if you're a YouTuber, I think it kind of comes down to a point where you need to buy a real camera. And I've been doing all the research and watching all the videos on YouTube. This camera, what's the good things about this one, the bad things about this one. I've been asking all my friends, what cameras do they use? And it's daunting when you think about, okay, should I go with a used one? Should I go with a new one? Because it's a really expensive purchase. And the differences between one or another are so minor and minute. It's hard to make a decision. You have too much choice. So I've been putting it off because I haven't quite decided yet. I think I know which one I want. If I'm going to go new, I'm going to go with the E10, the Sony E10 with the interchangeable lenses, and start to build my lens kit, if you will. But then again, I can go with a Canon, one of these giant Canon 90Ds or something. A lot of 60Ds there too. A used one for roughly the same price as the brand new Sony E10. But I mean, I'm still rather newbie when it comes to this stuff, to be honest. So which one should I get? If you can make a comment below if you're watching on the replay and tell me, what camera do you use? Which one do you recommend? For me, portability is an issue. That's why I love this thing. I stick it in my pocket. This is my on the go. It's in my messenger bag every day. If I see something cool, I whip it out. The audio is fairly decent on it, and the stabilization is great. For me, stabilization and ease of use are the most important things. But I do want to up my game a little bit, especially with some of these shoots that I've been doing. Let me show you. So I went to this studio. I was doing some photo shoots here, and these guys are very professional. They do live streaming stuff, but I don't do the live streaming stuff. I just do some how-to videos. And they're very professional. And as you can see, these lighting fixtures here, I mean, these lighting fixtures, that's about $1,000 lighting fixture. I mean, it's I don't know if I just have one of these little circle things you get online for like $20, right? That seemed to work just fine. But you can see here, they go all out. They're super professional with their equipment. And I was very impressed. I mean, look at the lens on this one. The lens itself, I think, is like twice as much as the camera body on that. And that's what scares me, is it's a rabbit's hole. I mean, it's everyone knows that if you're a YouTuber or a creator of some kind, that equipment, whether it be audio, lighting, visual, software, and your time, is a real rabbit's hole of money. And I'm afraid if I buy something like this, then I'm going to have to buy another lens, and then a third lens, and then a wide angle, and an 80 millimeter. And it's just going to go on. And I realize I'm building and investing in a kit, but we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment over the next couple of years, when all I've been using is this and my iPhone, and it seems to be working just fine. Now, it's not great. The depth of field, the dynamic range, the colors, the audio, it has ways to go above and beyond that. But this is an amazing hobby, and I feel like I've hit a plateau with what I can do with this stuff, and I want to move on to something, the next challenge, if you will. So again, if you're interested in this stuff, let me know, please. Comment below and give me a recommendation. Should I continue with what I've really got and put my money towards travel or savings or whatever, or should I go ahead and invest in some new camera equipment? And if I do, what do you recommend? Should I go with a used DSLR or a brand new Sony and start to build my kit that way? I'm interested in your comments. Speaking of comments, wow, there's a lot of comments. Let's talk about these. Okay. Give yourself electric cars. Sure. I'm not ready for electric cars. I agree, Corey. The other thing I like about Havel is I think it's incredible value for the money. And this is everyone saying, all of the reviewers from Australia and South America and India, where these are being exported to, are really shocked at the build quality, the value, the technology you get for it, and the warranty. Havel has some pretty good warranties. So Havel, the Way product, is a lot more expensive, but a lot more luxurious. The newest generation, hot rod. A little Honda Civic. All right. The newest generation of Way products, I'm not that impressed with. I think they've gone a little jelly bean, but the new Havels are freaking awesome. I love them all. And I think they're a great deal. So that's not. Get Jayo Matt to fix it for you. He really hooked his Matt. Yes, I've been watching. If you haven't been watching the Jayo Nation, he's living the van life in America and living one of my dreams, and kind of living vicariously through him. And his van is freaking awesome. He has done some amazing things to that van and his build that he continues. It's like a little project van. I know he's investing a lot of money into it, but I think it's a really good investment for him, because after you build a van like that, it's going to be worth something to a lot of people. And I think it's awesome. Go check out Matt's new van. He's in the States though. Sony mirrorless is so nice. I just got the A7M4 for video, and it's great. A little big and heavy though. Okay, that's a good. This is the A7S. This one here. So, good recommendation. Really would love to get a made in China Tesla, but the new Neo ET7, ET5 is blowing it out of the water. Used to own a Tesla and consider myself a fanboy. Yeah, the new ET7 looks pretty awesome. It looks a lot like a Xiaopeng, but the Xiaopeng is pretty nice too. I don't like the P5, the new Xiaopeng. I think it's the P5. I don't like it. I think it's ugly. But the new Neo ET7, I haven't seen them on the road yet here. I only saw it at the auto show. It does look pretty awesome. And for the price and what you get for Neo services is pretty good. Neo has some pretty good customer service, from what I've been told. Teslas are great cars. I mean, they sell a lot of them for a reason. You know, I'm not ready for an electric car personally. Okay, dude, Gene, you got to upgrade. I have my. Oh, excuse me. I have my 7 here. I don't use it. You know, I think I got some games on this that I might play around with, but nope. It's my iPhone 11 and then my 13. I bought this when I recall talking to you guys about this. I bought this in lieu of buying a DSLR camera last year. I was in the market for a new camera or the iPhone, and I looked at all of it and I considered, okay, the iPhone Pro cameras are just the what they produce are really amazing. I've taken some stuff on this to blow you away, that it's hard to tell the difference between this and a 10,000 RMB, 20,000 RMB mirrorless or anything like that. And this is a phone, so obviously you can do a lot more with it. So I elected to go with this. And I love this. This is great. I'm not wanting to change that out at all. And I think it's fantastic with it. I do think that investing in a real camera might be something that I'm ready for. I'm live streaming now on the, it's the 11. Yeah. New JJL wireless mic looks great for easy audio. Yes, I'm gonna buy it. It's on my list right now to buy. It will plug into this. It'll plug, but it will not attach to the DJI Pocket 2. So for now, I can only Bluetooth it with an iPhone or with a mirrorless or DSLR. I'm waiting for the new Pocket 3 to come out, which hopefully will be this summer. And it's rumored that either they're going to have an extender for this that can connect with the new DJI audio, or it'll be internal. It's rumored. I don't know yet. Great comments, guys. Okay. Do you prefer Link & Co. or Zeekr? Do you think Zeekr will arrive in Europe, or it will be called... No, it'll be Zeekr. It'll definitely be Zeekr in Europe. Zeekr is the electric brand from Geely. It's an all-new brand, and they are launching this worldwide, and it will be coming to Europe, most definitely. In fact, I think they're already selling it there. If they're not already selling it, they will be selling it there soon. Link & Co., they look similar, obviously. I mean, the 01... Not the 01. The concept car for Zeekr was initially debuted as a Link & Co., an electric Link & Co. But then they said, okay, no, because it was designed by the same people in Europe. But then they said, no, we're going to create this whole new brand, Zeekr, and build off this architecture other cars. Zeekr has got some amazing things coming out. The 001 is just the beginning with Zeekr. They've got some incredible vehicles lined up. Can't tell you about them, but man, Geely's going to blow everybody away. Lynk & Co is a wonderful brand. I love the designs. I think they're great quality cars. I looked at one today. They hold their value extremely well. They seem to be solid vehicles and in very, very high demand. So Lynk & Co is excellent choice as well. Do you think China will invade Taiwan? I'm not talking politics. When is the last time you had buyer's remorse because of a gadget? Oh, great question. Great question. Okay. No. I have the Insta360 2. Insta360 I guess. It's the 360-degree camera. I love this camera. I love the creativity you can have with it. It does amazing things, but I almost never use it. I use it for occasionally I'll stick it out the window and get some roll like that, or I'll stick it over a rock. But on a day-to-day shoot, it's just nothing that I have been using on a regular basis. And so I feel like it's a very expensive B-roll camera. And I know I could use it more. I know I'm scratching the surface with what it's all about. I don't know if I have buyer's remorse on it. I mean, I tend to buy things and keep it. I mean, this iPad I've had for 7 years. This is an iPad Air 2, and it's still in beautiful condition. It works great. I have no plans on getting rid of this or upgrading it because it does everything I want it to do. I mean, I have a lot of junk, though, don't I? I really do. Not as much as Fernando. Fernando, he's got a lot of that. Okay. Any advice for a good computer monitor? I have the Xiaomi. I don't know if you can see that. I use the Xiaomi gaming computer monitor. It's a curved monitor. It costs about a couple $100. It was not expensive as monitors go for this type of monitor. I love it to death. It's great. I have another monitor here. It's a cheap one. I don't know monitors that well. I use what I use, and they work fine. I have no reservations about buying a phone in China. None whatsoever. It's great. It's wonderful. Do you think Chinese auto market will eventually cover big X, like big 3 in Germany? So many car companies now. Maybe. The Chinese car market, well, the China market itself is freaking huge. And the cars that dominate here are Volkswagen, Toyota, Honda. I mean, yes, they're made by they're partnerships with local car companies. The best-selling car company in China is Geely, and you're starting to see them branch out. But also Great Wall products are going out everywhere. SAIC has a lot of different brands. Some of them do well, some of them don't. I think Borgward is going out of business. It's really strange to see it all come together. It's a really exciting time in the car market. I think there'll be some consolidation. There'll be some brands that'll be left out to dry or picked up for pennies on the dollar, try to reestablish them by other brands, and more consolidation and selling off bits and pieces. It's going to be an interesting ride over the next 10, 15 years, most definitely. Okay, a couple more photos, and then we'll get to the news. Okay. I found a friend of mine sent me these photos from old Zhongshan. I live in Zhongshan, China. We'll take a look at these real quick. And apparently this is the river that goes through the town. This is Zhongshan People's Bridge, number 1 People's Bridge. There's a boat harbor here. This is before the Fuhua Jiudian was built. You can see here. This is the main river that goes through the town. There's not much out there. All of this now is all high-rise apartments and factories and stuff. And this is the center wharf area of what was traditionally Zhongshan. This is the Fuhua Jiudian, the very first international hotel that opened up here in Zhongshan. It is now closed. And it's right next to that is the Sheraton and Friends Bar. And of course, most of this has been demolished and replaced with high-rise buildings. All of these are now high-rise apartments and malls and things like that. This is Zhongshan Lu, or Zhongshan Street, Zhongshan Road. And this is before Lihe Plaza was built. You can see here, this is the Bank of China building. And the building next to that is got the framework still under construction. This is before the construction of the underpass that goes in this area. If you know Zhongshan, you know what this is. So it's very interesting to see some of these old photos. I believe that is Sunwen Pedestrian Road. Okay. Went into Fat Joe's, had myself a nice cheeseburger. And in the next burger hunt that I'll be doing, I'm almost done with it. I mean, it takes a while to put together the burger hunt videos, right? Because you got to eat burgers constantly. And I got some great ones coming. I got about 2, maybe 3 more to eat. I'll try to get to them this week. But I went back to Fat Joe's and I had the chicken burger. And this is something I'm going to start to incorporate with the chicken burger scene here in Zhongshan. Because they got a great hamburger scene, but not many people talk about the chicken burgers. So I'm going to start talking about that. That is good. Okay, a couple more photos, guys. A couple more photos. I was invited by Zhongshan Toastmasters to give a workshop. If you don't know Toastmasters, I've been involved with Toastmasters one way or another for the last 20 years. And I've sent many of my students to Toastmasters to continue to practice their English. And here in Zhongshan, they actually invited me to give a little workshop on the art of storytelling. It was wonderful. It was live streamed. So many people. I want to thank them so much for inviting me. It was great. So I talked to them about the structure stories, the structure storytelling, the history about it, some tips and tricks on how you can structure your story a little bit more. Of course, name it, Kurt Vonnegut's story charts. We went over that, and as well as Joseph Campbell's monomyth. The hero's journey, or there's also the story circle. Went into that a little bit, and had a lot of fun. And the story that I told to them was a story of this. Now, if you don't know, if you've been following my channel, you might have seen this in some of my apartment tours. This says, a man travels the world over in search of what he needs and returns home to find it. And this was a gift that my mother gave me the night before I left for basic training when I was 20 years old. And I kept it with me. And I've kept it in every country I've ever gone to. And I'm looking at it right now. It's on my refrigerator right now. And one day I'll go home and I'll give it back to her. But I've been on the road one way or another, off and on, for the last 23 years. And I keep this. It's a little $3 magnet, but the stories that this one little magnet can tell really represent what the whole workshop was about. So, Mother, I still have it. Thank you for this wonderful gift. It means a lot to me. And one day I'll bring it back to you. Okay. All right, enough photos. Let's go back to some comments here real quick. Let's see what I got here. Gene says, I'd hold on to my iPad forever too if I could, but Apple has serious issues with the iPad batteries. That is true. I mean, the iPad, this thing, the battery isn't what it used to be. I mean, I wouldn't take it out. I could put a SIM card in here if I wanted to, but I wouldn't take this out and try to use it on a day-to-day basis. It would go bad. But for sitting on the sofa and, playing with YouTube or surfing the internet, or just doing some random stuff on it, it's fine. For around the house, I just plug it in here at my desk and it works fine. I get about a day's worth of use on it. See, right now it's at 24%. So time to plug it in. Okay, we'll plug that in there. Thanks for reminding me, Gene. I want to watch a little YouTube later tonight. That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know how much it would cost to change a battery in an iPad. If it's even worth it. I mean, for now, like I said, I get a couple of hours of use out of it. I don't feel the need to change the battery right now. So I know the battery in these old iPhones are pretty much shot. So the new iPhone I've had for about 6 months now, and it's chugging along pretty good. I have no issues. So, all right, let's go to the news, shall we? We'll go to the news. I got some news stories for y'all. Okay. So first, some shameless self promotion. See, is this Patreon? Yeah, Patreon. You can follow me on Patreon. I will never ask people to subscribe or comment or like in my channel videos or support me on Patreon except here. And I don't want to ask you directly to support me. I only have 3 Patreons. I make $25 a month. You know who you guys are. You guys are great. Thank you so much. But if in the future you are thinking about perhaps supporting a creator, especially a China-based creator, think of me. Think of me. You can buy me a coffee if you like, if you want to help support the channel. You can follow me on Facebook at Walkabout Rojo and see some of the early photos and videos as they come out before anybody else. Okay, let's move on. COVID-19 and mental health. Life inside of an isolation hotel. I loved this. This is from That's Beijing, That's Guangzhou. In China, before COVID-19 takes the fight onto the streets, the virus is fought in a rather peculiar setting in hotel rooms. If you don't know, when you arrive in China, I have not experienced this, by the way. I have not left mainland China and come back since the pandemic, but I have a lot of friends who have. And there's been lots of documentation about what the people's experiences are in these COVID isolation hotels. I can't imagine it being fun. But this is a great story about the workers who work in the COVID-19 quarantine hotels. And it's something that a lot of people don't really think about. You know, everyone thinks about their personal experience in that room, what they do to stay sane, but no one ever gives a wink or a thank you or shakes the hand of the workers who work there every day. And these people are putting themselves in the line every day, constantly. And a lot of times when these outbreaks happen in a city, it happens to these workers. So it's a lot of hard work for these guys. So I want to give a shout out to the COVID isolation quarantine hotel workers for the work that they do. They are here in China. They deserve a lot more pats on the back and respect than I think that they get. Read more about them. All right. I saw this design to be rather interesting. It looks like it's an Apple store. It's like as if the Apple designers came in and designed a house here in China. I don't like everything to be white like this. It looks great in photos. It presents well, but after a couple of months, you're going to get scuff marks and imperfections shown all throughout these furniture pieces, and it's just going to look really, really bad. When it's brand new, it looks amazing, but after use, it just looks terrible. It does not hold up well in use. I mean, you can see here, those chairs, those white walls, that countertop will not look like that in a year. And you can have it redone, but that being said, it does look really clean. I love these sofas that can be used in different directions, you know, these multi-use sofas. That seems to be a trend I'm seeing. It's almost too white. And that's a strange place for a chair. I mean, it's almost like a show chair rather than a chair you would actually sit in, right? Okay. Let's see what else we got. Okay. I think they had the bedroom in here. Let's show the bedroom. Okay, let's show the bedroom real quick. Oh, I don't know if you can see that right there. That has one of these platform bedrooms. Again, those platform beds look great in photos, but in reality, you bust your shin on those every time trying to climb in. Oh, what a nightmare. Mm. I love this. Snooping girlfriend gets scammed. This has been in the news a lot lately. This is from Panda Guides. A PhD candidate student at medical university in Shenyang, Liaoning province in northeast China, identified in reports only as Tian, was scammed after trying to hire hackers to break into her boyfriend's online chat history. Tian had come to suspect that her boyfriend wasn't telling her the truth and decided to find out for herself what he was hiding. After searching online, she found and added a person on WeChat who claimed that an app produced by their company could help her read her boyfriend's chat history. Tian then paid 880 yuan for their service before installing the app. However, the scam did not stop there. To access the app after downloading, Tian had to pay 300 yen for an activation code and then 1,388 yuan for a service package. Following that, she signed a confidentiality agreement and paid a deposit of 5,300 yen. In the end, Tam was never able to access her boyfriend's chat history. She finally realized it was a scam after paying the person almost 8,000 yuan and called the police. There's stories like this, man. You know, you go snooping, you get what you deserve. Some of the comments were great on this one. Some of the oh. I got some other comments here. Let's see what else we got. Gene says, I've had my iPhone battery swapped here. Most Chinese phone shops are good at those. iPad's not sure. I had to get a new one from Apple last year. They wouldn't replace it. Oh, that's too bad, man. Yeah, there are iPhone repair shops. I mean, I've had my screen replaced a million times by these guys. There are computer and phone repair shops everywhere. These guys know what they're doing. They're great. Their prices are reasonable. So I feel like I never have an issue when it comes to that. Imagine those white rooms. They have a giant tub of bleach in the closet. See, a lot of people don't realize bleach doesn't make things white. They make things off-white. So it's, if you try to bleach something like that, you're just going to have discoloration all over the place. You have to resurface the whole thing. If you get like a black scuff mark and try to buff it out, it almost never comes out. It just smears it off and then it gets into the grain. So unless you've got a glossy finish that has some kind of clear coat on it, which some of it does, it look like, it's never going to happen. Trust me on this. White doesn't work. It looks great, but white is not the way to go if you want long-term livability. I see this in hotels all the time. Wait, I've seen this white condo from a YouTube vid before, owned by an introvert. Hey, I'm an introvert, man. I know when people, especially my students, don't believe me, but I'm definitely very much an introvert. I like my minimalism, but I'd rather have unfinished wood pieces like you see here in my apartment and in my home because they can take a beating. You can nick them. You can, I got a little Coca-Cola stain, a little dot Coca-Cola stain right here, and it's okay because it's raw wood. It's supposed to have nicks and scratches, and it's not supposed to be perfect. It's wood, and so long term, it's so much better, I think. Good comments tonight, though. Good comments, guys. Check this out. For all you lovers of Zhongshan Lovers Avenue starts construction. This is happening in Suihong. I've talked about Suihong out where near the Shenzhen Zhongshan link is being built. It's the new district. I've covered it a million times. And Zhuhai has a famous Lovers Avenue with tons of beaches, and they're pretty nice beaches, but nobody ever goes to them. And also a great avenue with condos and weddings take place there all the time. Zhongshan is building one now too. The commencement ceremony for Shanghai Road North section project was held in the Suihongnu district on March 1st, signaling the start of the construction Zhongshan's Avenue, Lovers Avenue. That's what it looks like right now. Okay, it's a 22-kilometer road, extends all the way south from the Hongmen Bridge to the vicinity of the Chiao Island in Zhuhai City. So it's an extension, 22 kilometers long. That's what it looks like. Zhongshan doesn't have any beaches. It's a little bit northern into the Pearl River Delta area. I'm not sure that it's a good idea to have beaches. It's more like marshland. The ecology here doesn't really support sandy beaches. I don't think we're going to get those. I just don't see Zhongshan having that. But to have tide pools or a nice place, do we have some of this already out in Kaifa-Chu area? So yeah, it looks like here we're not going to have actual beaches, but it'll be a nice little coastal drive around Suihong. These are everywhere in Zhuhai, by the way. Shanghai Road is part of Zhongshan's top 10 livelihood projects for 2022 and is the first coastal scenic highway in the city. The north section that newly began construction is 4.3 kilometers long with an investment of 1.1 billion yuan. It will further extend to Zhuhai in the future. And that is a lovely drive. If you take the Zhuhai Lovers Avenue, it runs the coast all the way down to the Gombe area. It is a very lovely drive. It goes by the Zhuhai Opera Performance Center, and goes by a bunch of universities. It hugs the coastline. There's some hiking trails that go off it into the hills. It's really nice. It's very nice. Although traffic can suck sometimes, but you're going to get that with a coast road, I guess. Okay, a couple more and then I'll call it a night. Okay, 3 signs. These signs mean you've been in China for a long time. For all of my friends out there who've been in China, let's see if this is true for you. You genuinely enjoy drinking warm water. The occasional glass of warm water is nice. Don't you think so? During winter, it warms you up from the inside out. If you find yourself drinking hot water during a China summer, you've gone full native. I can't agree any more with this. I'm not drinking water. This is whiskey. But yes, I find myself drinking more and more hot water, even in the summertime. It feels good on the lungs. And I'm an American. I love my ice cold water, but I find myself drinking a lot more hot water. It's good for your health. You don't think twice about walking home alone at 2 a.m. That is true. China is widely accepted as one of the safest countries to live in, as evidenced by a 24.3% drop in its number of criminal cases between 2016 and 2019. This improvement was announced in a work report published on Monday by the State Council on the Law Enforcement of Public Security Organs. During an ongoing session of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, China's top legislature, China has witnessed a steady fall in the number of major criminal cases such as homicides, rapes, and kidnappings. The report also adds that the number of such specific cases within the overall decline in criminal cases mentioned earlier was down a promising 34.9% in that same period. Yeah, this is very true. I was talking about this with a student. I feel very comfortable walking around almost any city, any place at any time of the day or night in China. I can't say that about other countries I've been to in the world, but I truly feel this is a very safe place. Even some so-called sketchy places, I have no problem walking down Middle Street at 2, 3 o'clock. I don't do it. I'm not out that late. And I think those days are over for me. But I mean, if I wanted, what is it? It's 10:15 at night right now. 10:15 at night. It's not too late, I guess. But I know my neighborhood here, I can walk around 2 o'clock in the morning, no problem. Do feel comfortable. Okay, let's see. You place your bag on the chair on the table. Chinese people rarely place their bags or backpacks on the ground. They usually place them on a chair or desk. I did not realize that I was doing this, but it's true. Back home, I just throw my bag on the ground. But here, I do place them on the desks or chair. And squat toilets don't scare you anymore. In fact, top squat toilets don't scare me. I actually prefer them. I think they're more hygienic. They are better for your body as far as evacuation goes. Quick and easy. The smell sucks because there's no U-bend in these. But I actually find myself preferring the squat toilets now. Now that I've built up the leg strength in my thighs to hold myself up. You drive a hard bargain. Bargaining is acceptable in most Chinese stores, except in the supermarket or some shopping malls in which the goods have clear fixed prices and the staff are not allowed to grant discretionary markdowns. To overcome the language obstacles when communicating with Chinese shopkeepers, you will benefit by learning some everyday Chinese phrases about shopping, such as ni hao, duo xiao qian, right? And pian Indian. Okay, can you give me this a little bit cheaper? Yeah, I actually often point at and say, taiguela, and I just kind of move on. But I don't haggle. It's not in my nature to. I actually don't like to do it. If Mona's with me, she loves to do it. It's like a sport for some people. They love to haggle. Right? All right. One more. Do one more. Getting tired. I have to work in the morning, guys. So it's Sunday night here. Monday's tomorrow. Back in the lecture hall. Top 10 Chinese cities by air quality in 2021. I'm happy to say that. Zhongshan isn't on the list. Wow. I thought it said Zhongshan, but no, it says Zhongshan. Or Zhongshan. Haikou in Hainan province tops 168 key cities in terms of air quality, followed by Lhasa, Huangshan, Zhongshan, Fuzhou, Xiamen, Lishui, Shenzhen, Huizhou, and Zhuhai. Zhuhai is the city right next to us. And here in Huizhou, Shenzhen, Zhuhai, these are all in this area. I've been to some places in Huizhou that not quite. But Xiamen is on the list. I have been there. Xiamen, great city. And Shenzhen, of course. For such a large city, Shenzhen does a good job of air quality. Huizhou. And, of course, Zhuhai. That doesn't surprise me. Zhuhai is an amazing city. It's a beautiful city. It really is. And if you're wondering, this right here, this is Zhuhai's Lover's Avenue. Right here. This is just part of it. It goes into the city, around the corner, and into Gongbei and down into Macau. Yeah. All right. Oh, look here. However, Jiaozhuo city in Henan province, Huzhe city in Shandong, and Urumqi presently presented relatively poor air quality. I have been to Henan, but I haven't been to Jiaozhuo, so I don't know. Okay. All right, let's go back to a couple of your comments here before we call it a night. Ooh, got a bunch here. Hope I could find a lover before the construction is done. Oh, cheers, Bill. Billy Z. That should not be a problem for you, Billy. The bag on the chair is probably because the roads 20 years ago were not exactly cleanest with spit. All roads everywhere are dirty. It's something that I never really realized I was doing until now. Even in my house here, I never put things out. My bag's not on the ground. I got it on a stool. So. All right. We Americans are the worst at haggling. The rest of the world does it. Yeah. Again, and I think people know that, and that's why we pay so much more. Go into a store. How much is that T-shirt? $300. Okay, there you go. And then they laugh at you as you walk out the door. There's a lot of truth to that. In fact, I've had in the past where the girlfriend will say, "No, Paul, leave. You're ruining it. Get out." Right? And so I have to leave the store because I'm ruining the bargaining going on. Yeah. All right. Okay, that being said, thank you all very much for joining me. I will update you on some things I got coming out. Rojo Reads the News is coming back. I've been producing some videos for it, mostly car videos, mostly car news and Rojo Reason news, but there'll be some other ones sprinkled in. I've got the Guangdong Provincial Museum that I did a little walk around. Thank you for the comment on the Rosewood, by the way. It was a beautiful hotel, both Rosewoods, both in Guangzhou and Beijing. Firefighter ones, I'm waiting for the firefighter ones. I need to get one more thing for it before I can release it. So that's going to be another couple weeks before the firefight. This is an awesome video of me training with the local fire and rescue team. It's going to be great, but I have to postpone it because there's a couple more things I need to get in order to release it. So that has been postponed, but I do have my walk around of the used car lot, and I'm going to be filming some more used cars. Not really old cars, but some great cars. I got the Beijing Auto Show coming up in April. I've been talking about that a long time. I'm only going to spend one day there. Zhongshan Hamburger Hunt Part 3 coming out as well. And cheap hotels in China. As I travel around, I don't always stay in 5-star hotels because I'm just a poor teacher. So I often stay in very nice but very affordable hotels. So I know a lot of you out there have been asking for this. Paul, where are some clean, nice hotels that are relatively inexpensive? I got the video coming out for you very shortly. With that being said, thank you very much for joining me. It's time to hit the sack. Good night, everyone. I hope you're safe and happy. And remember, please, please, no war. Pray for peace.